Revelations is a short film written and directed by Phil Fisher of Big Idea Entertainment. The animation was finished in April of 1997 and was intended to be an exclusive showing for Seattle's first Master of Animations festival. It's now considered lost media, as no recordings, audio demos, or even storyboard pieces have been revealed. Part of that reason being that no flash photography or video was to be taken during each film's display, according to the rules of the festival, that is. All that had been found from the short is a screenshot of the production reel and the movie's full script. The runtime of the film was approximately 10 minutes, and has been confirmed that part of the visual effects were later reused for The End of Silliness from 1998. It was rumored that Henry Shoulders, a reporter from the Seattle Times newspaper, questioned Phil Vishers on his decision to release the film after the festival ended, to which he replied that while it was done for comedic purposes, it would still come across as, quote, too real for the youth. The following is a full synopsis of the movie's script. The featurette begins with the production reel, showcasing the studio's name, the time, and the title of the short being SSF 97 Revelations. The screen would then switch to a fade-in of the kitchen counter, with Bob and Larry looking at the screen as they normally would. The two gave out their usual greeting, introducing themselves before discussing what will happen in the show. However, this time, Bob stuttered for a moment, realizing that he didn't get a letter from anyone yet. Bob turns to Larry, asking him if he knows what they'll be doing today with a confused tone, to which he responds with no. Bob even hops off screen to check the letterbox to pull something at the last minute. Seconds of searching passes, and a confused Bob arrives back to Larry saying that there was a, quote, big ol' goose egg for now. That is when one of the French peas steps in with the hat and broom. Bob asks the French pea why nobody in the kitchen was going to do the show, and the pea explains to Bob that the show was delayed to next week, and he was just there to do a quick spot sweep around the area. When asked why they couldn't have started the show today, the pea noted that everyone was sick with turkey pox, before handing over a stack of doctor's notes for him to skim through. The pea then advised Bob and Larry to go home and do what they normally do on a lazy day. A moment of silence occurs for what feels like 10 seconds before Bob breaks the stillness by offering Larry some food from Burger Bell. Larry refuses and goes home. It then faded to Larry walking into a small living room, and a short montage with lazy piano music. The montage consists of Larry reading a book, watching a movie with a plush manatee, and drinking glasses of milk, trying to quell the boredom of not being able to have a show. The montage ends, and he tries his hardest to stay awake, but eventually falls asleep on his couch, dropping the manatee plush in the process. We're given a zoom in on Larry's baggy face, the background swirling up with sound effects of violent violin riffs blaring off in the distance. In came the dream sequence. Larry opens his eyes, only to be greeted by nothing but gray smoke. He was floating in air, and there seemed to be no ground below. Larry panics and scans the area, calling out for Bob or Archibald to no avail, before the smoke darkens and a hole is ripped in the sky, causing a burst of colorful light to shine through. Two colossal-sized hands slowly descended before Larry's very eyes, and a low, reassuring voice boomed through the cloudy atmosphere. Larry slowly calms down, his pupils dilated to full size before he comes to the realization of whose hands that belong to. God? Is that you? God is overjoyed, expressing his gratitude to Larry for this countless hard work put into teaching his children. Larry, for the first time in the entire series, cries tears of awe at the sight. He is informed about Jesus Christ's second coming and the end times nearing, and how every day people stray further from his light. God then tells Larry to do the best that he can to save his children because there is still one thing that many of them do not know, including him. His fingers snap, and his hand yank back into the hole of smoke clouds. Various imagery flashes into view. Hundreds of people, not vegetables, people, floating into the sky, getting higher each second. This is meant to symbolize the rapture. People with the sigil of Baphomet, or the, quote, mark of the beast covering their foreheads, the birth of the Antichrist and the desecration of one of the Jewish temples, along with the nations failing and turning against Israel, resulting in full-on war. Earthquakes, famines, and epidemics in various parts of the earth killing millions. The last vision was a visualization of hell. Lakes of fire flow through with people burning alive. The screams of these people echo throughout, and some have their skeletons showing, skin melting and all. It was rumored that some of the screams were voiced by random individuals found on the street. Larry, horrified by the events being shown to him, struggles in his mid-air restraint, desperately trying to gain a breath. The corners of his eyes turn red from the disturbed sight, and he begs God to let him go, his head shaking faster by the minute. A scream rings out. It quickly switched to Larry's living room, and Bob rapidly trying to shake Larry awake from his nightmare. Larry jolts awake, his eyes bloodshot, still in disbelief of this being merely a dream. Bob says that he came back from Burger Bell to find him talking to something in his sleep, and that he wants to know what was going on. Larry gasps for air and shouts at the ceiling that he needs to go back to the kitchen to, quote-unquote, warn them. Bob, puzzled, implores Larry to calm down, but Larry doesn't listen and races out the entrance door. We get one final cut to the kitchen counter. Larry bounces into frame, frantically hunting for the audience they had previously spoken to in the introduction. Larry imparts to Larry, mentioning that it hadn't even been an hour since he left to get food, and that he needed to go back home and get some rest. Larry once again doesn't listen to him, and directs his glare right to the camera before quickly sprinting over to it. His voice was alarmed to no end. Pray. Pray all you can. Pray all day. Pray every night. Pray before dinner. Pray on your way to school. Do it with all your parents, your cousins, anyone. We're in the end times. Armageddon will come. An enclosing circle interrupts Larry's pleas, and the credits roll, ending the short. To this day, Revelations is entirely lost and has never been shown to the public again as of late 2024, with the co-creator of Veggietales, Mike, confirming that in an interview that it was only for internal use within Big Idea Entertainment, and they had no plan for a reshowing anytime soon. Rightfully so. Comedic or serious, either way, what child would want to know this early?